Hi guys, welcome back to the First Division preview show. Daz and myself, Keith Fitzsimons here today. We'll start off, Daz, with Athlone and Wexford. This is an opportunity for Athlone actually to go 2 points behind Bray in the playoff slots. Bray don't play till Saturday, so you got the feel of 5 games to go. This is a must-win for Athlone, isn't it?
This is definitely 100% a must-win for Athlone. I think I said there about 6 weeks, 2 months ago, so that Athlone could catch teams now and get back up and claw themselves into playoffs, because they're so, I think it's like top 5 for playoffs, basically, more or less.
It is, yeah.
So, if you're anywhere at all decent in the league, if you win every second game, you're going to be in it. It sounds easy, it's not, but Athlone have dug in deep and they've clawed results back slowly but surely. They've been shaky and rocky, but you'd have to fully back them against Wexford. They're bottom of Division 1. The few individual good players like I've often went through, we all know them, like Fitzgerald, Myland, Cork, and the goalie's good. They've got a few good players. Robinson's good too for them. But I've definitely seen Athlone win this. It's an absolute must-win for Athlone, and I do think they will win. They've got a few bit of quality throughout the team, and if they were to get a win now, it really put them in the place for a playoff, and they can really look ahead to the league and look at the last few games. They can, if we keep getting a few wins, getting points on the board, putting pressure on teams, we could definitely sneak away into the playoff, and it would be brilliant to have one of the founding league members back in the Premier Division. If a fairy tale was to happen and they were to go up, I'd absolutely love if they went back up, but that's a world apart at the minute. Obviously, they are not currently in the playoffs, but it's definitely within their reach, and they should be confident going into this. And no disrespect to Wexford, but if you needed points, you would like to play Wexford because you're more sure of getting them than like of your UCD or Galway or Treaty. You're more sure to get points against Wexford.
Yeah, there's 2 teams in the league you have to beat at the moment, Cove and Wexford, if you really want to get into the playoffs. For example, just the way they're playing and that. That said, Wexford have played a bit better in recent weeks, to be fair to them. But they have steadied the ship a bit at Athlone, a little bit under Paul Doolan. So I suppose regardless, they have to, even if they don't get into the playoffs, they have to use these 5 games crucially to really look ahead to next season and try and get a bit of a foundation there if they can, don't they?
Yeah, I just hope though for Athlone's sake that, the investment the players got wasn't once off to try and sneak in the playoffs and go up. Like, it'd be devastating for them fans.
Yeah.
So in general, if they pull an investment and didn't re-sign these players that they have, or let them all go and sign new players, and suddenly they're back down to where they were 2 and 3 seasons ago, I really wouldn't like to see that. It's great to have a good Athlone town team, even in Division 1. It's great for the Midlands to have a team like them, but it'd be great if they went up. They've got some great people there, great facility there, but the players that they brought in this season raised an awful lot of eyebrows, especially over what happened in previous seasons with, dodgy investors, dodgy money changing hands, and large amount of money being placed in teams and players up for match picks. And them days are gone, and I hope to stay gone for Athlone. And they're in a very good position at the minute, and it would be great even this season if they were to finish 6th and keep the players that they have and build on it for next season, bring in a few more bodies and see where they can go. And I think if they do that, they'll be in a good place. But it's going to come down to investment. It's going to come down to whether they will keep the players and add the ones in that they already have. But I definitely think they'll get a win, and I really think they need to get a win if they want to have aspirations of being in the playoffs. But going, like you said, it's putting in a foundation in place for Athlone, and they're in a good place at the minute. And I really hope for themselves they can keep the players, keep the investment, keep Paul Doolan at the helm. I think he's a great manager. We all know what he can do, and an exposed man. I have a lot of respect for him, a lot of time for him, and I really hope Athlone do well this season and hopefully push again then for next season.
Yeah, Athlone to win for you?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Athlone 3-0.
Yeah, 2-1, I'll go Athlone. Cabinteely take on Shells, and Cabinteely have actually scored 9 goals in the last 5 games, which is pretty good considering what, we talked about them struggling goals big time before. No win the last 6 home games, however. But this is a game where Shelbourne can literally almost clinch the title. If they could win this, there's 4 games to go, which is only 12 points available. If they win this, there'd be 12 points clear as such, but I'd assume either UCD or Galway would win. But I'm looking at it and going, their next game, if they can just get a win here, there's a good chance to clinch the title. So it's coming for them, really. It's just a matter of when, isn't it?
Personally, I can't believe there's only 4 games to go for this side of Division 1. That's going to be devastating when the league.
Obviously, we'll have the playoffs as well, but yeah.
I know, but I hate when the season finishes, like everyone, but I can't believe we're that far already. But look, what season Shelbourne's after having again in Division 1. They're too good for Division 1, like they were 2 years ago, and they're obviously too good for that as well. Just the players they have, they're people don't like saying that the Bows B team. You've an awful lot of Bows, ex-Bows men in the team. But look, all jokes aside,
And Waterford, I must say.
Waterford, they've got an awful lot of
Yeah.
Waterford players too. Like, we don't really need to go through the players. Everybody knows the team that Shelbourne has in every single position. They've got quality throughout that pitch, you know, and they've 2 players more or less for every position, and they've got a few young players come up as well. And, you know, they've got a lot of good things going for them there, and they are so close to clinching the title. They won't throw it away. They 100% definitely won't. It won't surprise me if they actually win every game and go on and, you know, see the season out. I don't think they've lost a game this season. Am I right in saying that? I don't think they've lost one.
Lost one match this season, just one match in the whole season.
Look, that obviously, you know, one loss this season, like, that's absolutely unbelievable. Like, you know, like, what a season Shelbourne's having, and their fans should be absolutely delighted with them. And, you know, I can't really see anything else than Shelbourne win. Them players are playing in confidence. When you're playing with confidence, you're going to score that goal, you're going to clear that ball, you're going to win that header, you're going to find that pass. If your teammate's going to support you, you're going to make that run, you're going to put that shift in. There's going to be no nervousness throughout the team. It's fully disciplined, fully focused, extremely work rate, and they're a great attacking team. They've scored so many goals this season, and defensively they're excellent. Like, they're really, really good as a unit at the back. And, you know, I've said that a few times how they defend in recent weeks, and if anyone's seen the videos, you know, I've talked about it and how they defend, and they're really, really good. And I certainly think when they come up, they don't really need to add too much to the team. Maybe a bit of experience, a few more, maybe 2 or 3 marquee signings would be great for them. Maybe another striker to come in or something like that, or a winger to come in.
They don't need an overhaul.
They definitely don't. And I think if they were to bring in 5 or 6 or 7 players, it could be their downfall again. And I hope I don't see that, because we need a good Shelbourne in the league. And it'd be great if we're in the league. You know, you have Bows and Shelbourne back, you have Shamrock, Shelbourne back, you have Pat, Shelbourne back, all these teams back playing Shelbourne. And look, I think they'll get a win. And as I said, they're playing in confidence. I can't see anything else other than a win, especially with where Cabinteely are this season. And they've had some very poor spells this season as well, and, you know, that we've talked about as well in recent weeks gone by, and just going through the motions and, you know, not picking up results and just throwing games away. But I think you have to see, like, it has to be Shelbourne win all day long, easy.
Yeah, I think it's Peter now for Cabba. I'll go for Shelbourne as well. 2-0 maybe. Ironically, Galway play UCD, and the reason why I say that is because Galway were the only team to beat Shells in the league. UCD actually knocked them out of the cup, knocked Shells out of the cup, but they take on each other at Eamon DC Park as well. And like, UCD have been flying. They're the top scorers in the league. Even the last day in their defeat to Waterford, they probably felt they shouldn't have lost that game at 2-2. Murphy made a great save from Colin Whelan, who did play well on the night as well. But look, I mean, these are 2 teams that a lot of people might suggest could well be in the playoff final, actually.
But 100%, both of these teams have a shout in for the playoff final. Easy, they both definitely do. And, like, not much really separates them. And the fact that I think UCD are second right now, the fact that they're up there in the league, like, if we
goal difference over Galway, that's how tight it is there.
That's how tight it is there. It just shows. But, you know, on paper right now, obviously with goal difference, they're second. Like, the students are second in the league. Like, you know, and if you go back a few weeks ago, I think they were 4th or 5th, you know, and I think I was saying, if they keep getting a few wins now, they'll crawl up the league. And I've been right about a few things, and I think I've been right about this one too. And UCD, you know, I'm amazed at where they are on Buzzensburn. Like, it's so great where they are. Like, think about that, your college team, and they're second in the league, and it's brilliant. Like, you know, Colin Whelan, obviously, you know, getting this game time with Ireland and being brought in, it shows the character of player that he is. You know, it's not often you see a Division 1 player being brought into underage Ireland setups. You know, maybe under 17s level with the likes of Shelbourne or that. Like, but you know, the likes of a UCD player underage for Ireland when they're not in the Premier Division, it's really showing something. And I'd be fearing for UCD they're going to lose a lot of players this season. Like Colin Whelan, like Shelbourne could easily take him, Galway could easily take him. But obviously all these players are on some sort of contract at UCD education.
Kerrigan's another one, Keeney's another one potentially I can play in the Premier for a good side too.
Loads of good players UCD have, and to be where they are, it definitely shows like they're just really, really good, and they've scored the most amount of goals this season, and they're an extremely entertaining team to watch. Like, and they have been the last 10 years. You've never once watched a UCD team launch the ball. They all play on the ground. They all play the so-called right way. They all play attacking football. Like, a really, really good team to watch, and I've seen them turn balls over a few times as well in my time. But this is going to be a very hard game to actually separate. Both teams are really good. Galway are really good. They've scored a lot of goals. They've got a few very good individual players too, and obviously they want to more or less are full time in Division 1, and they've got a very good manager at the helm too, and he's really propelled them up the league. But I think
sign a new contract as well.
Sign a new contract as well, you know, and that's brilliant for the the fans of that team to show that they have a clear direction of where they're going. And if they don't make Premier Division this season, they probably will next season if they can keep the team together, bring a few more players in, and keep the manager. Even if they go through a bad spell and keep him there, I think he'll do very well for them, like like he's done the last few times. But I think this one's going to be a draw for me. I think it's going to be a tight draw. I could see this being 1-1, a very close game. I think it'll be a moment of brilliance for individual players in both teams that might separate them. But it's going to be a 1-1 draw for me.
I think we draw as well, because I think it's getting to the stage of the season. UCD and Galway know realistically they're 11 points clear of Athlone. They know realistically they're going to be in the playoffs. They're not going to want to show their hand too much to each other in this one. I know you can go back and watch video reviews and you've got an idea what each team is like, but they're not going to do it close up. So in my opinion, it'll either be a very narrow win for somebody or draw. I'll go for a draw there. Munster Derby then, Treaty take on Cork, and Treaty have actually won on 2 occasions against Cork this city as well. Treaty are only 2 points behind UCD and Galway. I think Cork have done well recently, but ultimately it's not going to be enough to get into the playoffs, I think.
No, I don't think Cork are going to make the playoffs. They've definitely they're going to come back through the season with a bit more respect from everyone throughout the league, as watching them or outsiders looking in, because they're not doing as poor as they were. They're not down where they were. They're a lot more competitive, I think. And teams.
That's still not good enough that they're likely not going to finish season in the playoffs. Cork should have been finishing in the top 5, in my personal opinion. When you look at the whole picture, I think.
Completely agree. Like it's very poor where Cork are. They definitely should have been in the top 5. Athletes, it definitely 100% should have been. Like, it's sad that a massive club like Cork are where they are. Like, I hate it. We need a good Cork team in the Premier Division, let alone Division 1. Like, the amount of fans that they have, and the stadium was brilliant too, and just the travelling support they used to bring around. Like, it's so sad to see where they are. Like, as a fan of the league, it kills me to see them where they are. But like, if they could get even a few of the UCD players, it would have really tore themselves up the league. But they are where they are, and they're having a poor season. And I can't really see anything else than a Treaty win. I definitely think Treaty will beat them. Maybe not easy, but maybe I don't think it's going to be a tight game. I do think Treaty will win easily enough, but it would be. I just can't see Cork getting anything in this. They've just been poor this season, and there's been some games I watched and just looked very disinterested, unorganised, and silly mistakes, and just people not putting work rates in, and the players not taking chances when they could, and it's just bad where they are. And I hope for their sake to get investment and propel themselves up the league next season and maybe get into playoff next season at a minimum. They'd have to be aiming for that next season, but focusing on the here and now, I think it's going to be 2-0 to Treaty. I don't see Cork getting anything in this game. I don't really see them being in the game. I don't think they'll get absolutely trampled by Treaty, but I definitely don't see them doing much in it either. And Treaty have been great this season, like we said, and just their units, their attackers, their midfielders and defenders are great, and they're a real team. I think if you're a team and you don't rely on individuals, I think you have more of a chance of doing well than if you're relying on individuals. Like we said in the preview show, it's in talks with individuals, but if you look at Treaty, they're a team, and I think that's the difference. So I think Treaty are going to win this 2-0 for me.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference as well. Yeah, I'm just looking at the table there, and they're they're 9 points above Athlone. So you're looking at it with 5 games to go. They're only 4 points or whatever from guaranteeing, actually. There's a cat outside the window just after jumping on the fence. He caught me off the hop there. But they're only about 4 points from guaranteeing staying in the playoffs, and that's only if Athlone win all their games. So do you know what? Treaty could probably lose all their games and still likely finish in the playoffs. That's how good of a position they're in at this minute in time going into this game.
And I have to say too, I know we've touched on it as well, but what a job Tommy Barrett is coming in and he's done. Treaty set up as a new team during coronavirus when there was no fans.
There hasn't been even a smidgen of criticism directed his way this season. Not even a smidgen.
No, and I think a lot of people throughout the league have an awful lot of respect for Treaty, and I certainly hope that out of all the teams to the playoffs, I'd love if Treaty came up. I'd love if Shelbourne came up or any team really, but it's good to have more teams in the league. Ultimately, a debate for another day is I'd like if the Premier Division had more teams in it, but that's a debate for another day. But it'd be great if Treaty actually managed to come up, and to see what they can do in the Premier Division. What Treaty? I think I was saying, I'll just go back into it and so you can edit it.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, I'm just buzzing for Treaty with where they are, and it would be great if they did come up. And like it's brilliant the job he's done. And like you said, there was no criticism at all this season throughout anyone else. Everyone in the league is buzzing for where they are, and he's put together a real good team, like we said. And you'd have to back Treaty for this. Definitely 100% back them.
Yeah. Did I give a prediction? If I didn't, I'm actually going to go for a draw. Having said that, you got to back them and I go for a draw. There you go. Cove and Bray play on the Saturday, and Bray are probably in the most delicate position here because, as I said, they're 5 points ahead of Athlone. If Athlone were to win on a Friday, it does put pressure on Bray to go to Cove and get a result here. I was singing their praises a few weeks ago, Bray, and then they went and lost 2 games in the bounce. For me, with the players they have, I think technically they should be too good, and they should still, if they can get 2 or 3 wins, they should still make this playoff. But as I said, if Athlone put that pressure on, you just never know. The pressure could get to them down in Cove. Cove have been dreadful of late, to be honest with you. They've lost a lot of games, conceding a lot of goals, knocked out a cup by minute. Their season has petered out. So, if Bray didn't go and win here, I'd be a little bit concerned at this point of the season, actually.
Look, with respect, Cove are probably one of the weakest teams in the league throughout both divisions. I think player for player they're very, very poor. They don't really have any individuals that even teams would want to take, really. That's with respect to any Cove fans listening. It's just the way it is with Cove. Unfortunately, it's just where they're at the minute. I would like to see Cove obviously be better. Who wouldn't, but player for player, Cove just don't have a great team. They just don't stand out. There's no players that you'd be looking at saying I'd pluck him out there and I'd bring him into my team, or just he'd be better on even Galway for talk's sake, or Treaty for talk's sake, even teams around them. And that's just where they are. Then you look at Bray player for player, and they're so much better. They've got so many more better players in that team, and I think Bray have to win this, and I think they will win it comfortably. Yes, they're under pressure going into this. Yes, they did lose two games at the bounce, 2 or 3. They lost 2 in the bounce anyway. They've been a bit up and down lately, but they're not a team that loses many games. A lot of the time, their results can be draws, especially away from home. And Bray are a very tough team to play, and they always have been. But I'd be fully confident Bray will go down and beat Cove 2 or 3-0. I think they definitely will. I think it's the right team to be playing if you need to get points, if you need to secure points. Again, no disrespect to Cove, it's just the way it is, in my opinion. It's just the players they have, where they're at in the league, and you look at Bray and where they're at and where they came from, the players they have and their form and where they're in the league, the points that they have, and it just has to be a Bray win for me, 1 or 2-0. I think Bray are going to win it, and I think it's going to be easy for them.
Yeah, they should have too much firepower. Hopefully Shaw, from their point of view, plays in the game. But I always look at them and say, look, Brandon Kavanagh, Graydon, Thompson, there's bloody good players there. But hasn't fully, I don't know, mixed right for them this season. But as I said, they're still in the playoffs. They should make the playoffs. And once you get into the playoffs, you're a dangerous proposition for anyone on the day. And, over the 2 ties.
I have to say, I actually don't agree with you there. I think it has clicked for Bray. I think they are where they are at, and I think this is where it realistically should be this season. I think maybe ahead of Treaty, really, but I wouldn't really have put Treaty where they are at, maybe, but I would have put Bray where they're at the minute, and I think they do deserve to be where they're at, and I think that probably might have been the aim of the season, to be where they're at. That might have been their goal, and I think, like you said, the players that they have, Thompson was a boss, didn't work out, but I think he's doing okay at Bray. He's only really gone there this season. He's still finding his feet. He's very, very young. He can play a right back, right wing, right midfield, even striker if you need him there. But they've got a lot of players there, and I think they are where they're at, and I think realistically, they should be happy with where they're at, and I think they'll make the playoffs. They put a right stab towards it, and who knows where they could finish. It's great where they're at, but I do think this is where they should be, and I think it's where they're at, and I think they've reached their goal for this season if they finish where they're at in the playoffs.
Yeah, I do think that as well. I think they have to make the playoffs. So if they missed out and Athlone got in, I think I honestly think pressure will come on the manager. I really do.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, yeah. Right, guys, we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Hit your bell notification button and comment below. Thanks a million, guys. Love you.